Good morning, everyone. So today I'm here with another video, that is your geography, chapter number 4, agriculture. So already this chapter has been completed in the classroom, so it's just like a revision class. So in the prehistoric times, approx 10,000 years ago, humans as hunter-gatherers began to domesticate plants and animals in order to make their food supply more accessible and predictable. In many ways, the birth of agriculture can be defined as the moment when humans stopped chasing their food and started raising it. Agriculture has been an important factor in shaping human civilization. So, sir, what is the meaning of agriculture? So, let's talk about in brief. Agriculture is defined as the art of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising livestock. The practice of agriculture is also known as farming, tillage of the soil, dairying production, cultivation, growing, harvesting of any agricultural product that the raising of livestock or poultry are some farming operations. Humans depend on agriculture for food. Without agriculture, there could be no cities, universities, factories, or offices. Agriculture employs 45% of the working population of most of the countries. In some part of the Asia and Africa, over 80% of the labor force is engaged in agriculture. Farmers in developed nations use the most innovative practices and growing techniques to produce enough food, fuel, and fiber, while at the same time they minimize their environmental footprint. So, what is the meaning of traditional agriculture? So, traditional agriculture is practiced in a number of developing and underdeveloped nations of the world. Here, farmers use whatever land, rainfall, seeds, tillage methods, and power resources they have to produce the farm products. Conventional processes are used to till the land, select and plant seeds to gather the harvest, and to protect plants from weeds and plant diseases. The environment plays a very important role in the traditional agriculture. In this chapter, we are talking about agriculture on the basis of Indian economy. So, traditional farming encompasses traditional and old agriculture techniques to grow crops. Bullocks are used for plugging the fields, rainwater is usually the main source of irrigation, and pest infestations are common in this method of farming. These factors of traditional farming may lead to lower crop yield. On the other hand, modern farming, that is the second technique. In the ancient time or in the previous time, the traditional agriculture was in practice, but today modern farming uses modern equipment and technology for cultivation. Latest farming methods are used along with the scientific way to increase the yields. Pesticides, agronomy, plant breeding, and hormones are used for better produce. So, what is the meaning of agronomy? Agronomy is the science of soil management and crop production. Nowadays, organic farming, natural fertilizers, and pesticides are being used for healthy and safe produce. Now, the point is types of agricultural practices. Various physical and human factors have given rise to different types of farming in the different parts of the world. Let's explore and learn about these types of agricultural practices. First is commercial farming. So, in the commercial farming, crops such as wheat, rice are grown on a large field for the purpose of making profit. Modern methods, labor, and machinery are used for large scale production. For example, the prairies in the US and Canada use commercial farming. Second is intensive farming. Intensive farming is done on a small piece of land, but the output is very high. This output can be produced due to the availability of new machines and new technologies. This is practiced in a thickly populated regions. Examples are livestock farming in the Canterbury Plains of the New Zealand, pig farming in Denmark, and rice cultivation in the countries of Southeast Asia. Second type of farming is extensive farming. In the extensive farming, small inputs of labor, fertilizers, and money are used. Although the area that is being cultivated is very large, this is done in the thinly populated regions. Examples are Argentina and Peru in the South America. Next is subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is the practice of small scale agriculture. In this farming, crops are produced for direct consumption by families and small communities. Subsistence farming is commonly practiced in the rural areas of developing countries. Next is shifting cultivation. So, what is the meaning of shifting cultivation? Under the shifting agriculture, farmers cut trees and clear the land for cultivation. They also burn the uprooted trees and use the ashes as fertilizers for the soil. Once the crop is cultivated and harvested, people move to the newer lands. Next is plantation agriculture. Plantation agriculture is a type of commercial farming in which a single type of crop is grown over large areas called plantations. The large amount of capital, labor, and machinery is used for large scale production and profits. The common plantation crops are rubber, cotton, coffee, tea, pineapple, sugar, cane, and jute. Plantations are found mainly in countries which have a tropical climate, such as countries in Asia, Africa, and America. Next is terrace farming. Terrace farming is done on the terraces that have been cut on the mountain slopes. Crops are grown on these flat terraces. This prevents erosion of soil and also prevents the loss of water and nutrients which are necessary for the growth of the crop. Next is nomadic herding. Herdsmen move from one place to another with their cattle in search of pastures. What is the meaning of herdsman? Herdsman is the owner of or keeper of the herd of domesticated animals. We call it what? Herdsman. So the herdsmen move from the one place to another with their cattle in search of pastures. Nomadic herders are common in arid and semi-arid regions of Asia, Africa, and Europe. So now the topic is, what is the meaning in detail of subsistence farming? Subsistence farming is the practice of a small scale agriculture and is made for direct consumption of the crops by small communities. Farmers engaged in subsistence farming are highly dependent on animals. Farmers use simple tools to prepare the land for farming, weeding, and harvesting. Seeds from the previous harvest are used. As a result, they might not be very high yielding seeds. Hence, to increase the produce, farmers use animal manure and ashes. They are not aware of the scientific methods like crop rotation. This is very common practice in East, South, and Southeast Asia, where population densities are high and land is limited. So, there are so many types of subsistence farming. Jesse ki first is intensive subsistence farming, extensive shifting cultivation. So, these are the examples of subsistence farming. So, dear students, it was all about your chapter, that is agriculture. Already this chapter we have discussed in the classroom. So now let's talk about food crops. Any plant that is grown with the purpose of being eaten by humans or animals is termed as food crop. It can also be used by the farmers for selling purposes. We grow and consume large amount of fruits, grains, and pulses. Climate, soil, location, and trade are some of the geographic factors that influence the cultivation of a food crop in a given region. Grains such as corn, wheat, and rice are the world's most popular food crops. Rice, wheat, and corn cover about 60% of all the harvested land in the world. There are two basic criteria that differentiate food crops from other plants. The first is that a person intentionally plants or cares for them, and the second is that they must be primarily used for food consumption. Both of these criteria are absolute requirement for the food crops to be grown. So, students, now please you just open your book and read this chapter. Already I have explained. I just make you all clear all the things which are necessary to get it. Thank you and have a good day.